6.3 Contemporary Views of Classical Conditioning. Contemporary learning researchers acknowledge the importance of both mental factors and evolutionary influences in classical conditioning. According to American psychologist Robert A. Rescorla, classical conditioning depends on the information the conditioned stimulus provides about the unconditioned stimulus. For learning to occur, the conditioned stimulus must be a reliable signal that predicts the presentation of the unconditioned stimulus. From his studies of classical conditioning in rats, Rescorla concluded that animals assess the predictive value of stimuli. Based on studies by Rescorla and others, classical conditioning seems to involve learning the relationships between events. According to Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection, both the physical characteristics and the natural behavior patterns of any species has been shaped by evolution to maximize adaptation to the environment. According to traditional behaviorists, the general principles of learning applied to virtually all animal species and all learning situations. However, in the 1960s, researchers began to report exceptions to these principles. A taste aversion is a classically conditioned intense dislike for and avoidance of a particular food that develops when an organism becomes ill after eating the food. Taste aversion seems to violate two basic principles of classical conditioning. Conditioning does not require repeated pairings. It can occur in a single pairing of the conditioned stimulus and the unconditioned stimulus. The time span between two stimuli can be several hours, not a matter of seconds. John Garcia demonstrated that taste aversions could be produced in laboratory rats under controlled conditions. His findings challenged several of the basic assumptions of classical conditioning. First, conditioned taste aversions challenge the notion that virtually any stimulus can become a conditioned stimulus. Second, Garcia found that rats were more likely to associate a painful stimulus, such as a shock, with external stimuli, such as flashing lights and noise. Rats, thirdly, were more likely to associate a taste stimulus with internal stimuli, the physical discomfort of illness. Biological preparedness is the idea that an organism is innately predisposed to form associations between certain stimuli and responses. Research supports the idea that humans are biologically prepared to develop fears or phobias of objects or situations, such as snakes, spiders, and heights, that may have once posed a threat to humans' evolutionary ancestors. Humans may have evolved perceptual mechanisms that automatically identify stimuli that are related to threatening encounters in the evolutionary past.